I'm Christine Persichetti. Many Catholics have them, a set of rosary beads or a Bible passed down through the generations. But when those beloved sacred objects break down beyond repair, what should you do? Currents News' Katie Vasquez speaks with an expert in Bedford-Stuyvesant who details how to do a divine disposal.
Pages are all tattered. You can see that the binding is all...
It's well loved and well used. Father Alonzo Cox says this book of blessings and Roman Missal predate his time as pastor of St. Martin de Porres Parish. But after over a decade of helping to preach the gospel, it's beginning to fall apart. So Father Cox says it's got to go. But the director of liturgy explains, with religious items, you can't throw them in the trash.
When someone gives you a crucifix or when someone gives you a rosary bead, the first thing that someone would ask is, Father, can you bless it? You know, that blessing is actually imparting, God's blessing upon this particular religious item. So it's important that, when it breaks or, when it gets some wear and tear, that we treat it in the way that we brought it, and that we treat it in the way that we received it.
Father Cox demonstrated how to reverently dispose of the two books, lighting a fire in a barrel in the courtyard.
With liturgical books, you're asked to burn them, but with other items, you can bury them, like with the oils, rosary beads.
While it seems like a process that anyone can do at home, he advises against it, saying to treat the items with the same sentimentality you would treat a family heirloom.
They're sentimental to us, but they're also sacred. So it's important that we understand the sentimentality of these beautiful religious items. But when it's time to, discard them, that we do it in a reverent way, that we do it in a way that reflects how sacred they are.
Instead, Father Cox suggests contacting your local parish so they can reverently dispose of any religious item that can no longer be used for Christ. In Bedford-Stuyvesant, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Pro-lifers are in limbo across the country after the latest update on the abortion pill mifepristone. The good news is yesterday, a U.S. appeals court ruled in favor of restricting the pill. The bad news, those restrictions won't take effect until the Supreme Court decides whether or not to hear the case, which likely won't happen until next year. If they are approved, the restrictions would include that the drug can only be prescribed by doctors, it could not be mailed to the patient, and it could not be taken later in pregnancy. Other concerning news for Catholics this week has some wondering if the separation of church and state has gone too far. The latest column of the newspaper editorial, as the tablet sees it, looks at two stories that talk about this. First, an accusation that the FBI secretly gathered evidence to link Catholics in Virginia to a far-right nationalist movement. And the story of a Catholic couple who is suing the state of Massachusetts for blocking them from adopting because of their beliefs. But the paper is also highlighting how people of faith are helping the church. Take this story about carpenter Christian Kaufman, who has spent the past 20 years building everything from chairs to altars for his beloved parish. From news to personal stories, the tablet is the paper for parishioners in the Diocese of Brooklyn. So be sure to pick up the paper at your local church this weekend. You could also support the tablet thanks to their membership program. To learn more about it and find out everything you can get with your donation, just go to thetablet.org/become-a-member. Black Catholics across the country are getting excited as they may soon have their very first saint. Pope Francis recently declared Mother Mary Lange venerable. The nun founded the first Catholic order of African-American nuns. The Oblate Sisters of Providence are still around today, serving in the U.S. and Costa Rica. If Mother Lange completes the canonization process, she could be the church's first African-American saint. That's a moment people like Ralph Moore have been waiting for over 30 years. Ralph is a member of the Social Justice Committee at St. Anne Church in Baltimore and is leading an effort to make Mother Mary Lange the first African-American saint. We spoke to him earlier about that announcement that she's one step closer to sainthood.
Well, I was excited as everyone else here in Baltimore and perhaps around the country and the world. We're happy to see movement. The process seems to go somewhat gradually, but we were happy to see that Mother Lange, whose cause started in 1991, is now moved up to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. It is a long process to sainthood. So why do you think it's important to fast track Mother Lange's cause?
Because there are no African American saints from the United States as recognized by the Catholic Church. There are none, and yet African Americans have been Catholic since the days of enslavement in this country. We have endured racial segregation even within our churches. We've endured the enslavement itself. We have endured mass incarceration and mass poverty. And yet we've kept the faith. We've remained faithful to the Catholic Church. And recognition is important. Representation is important.
Absolutely. So tell us about the efforts you've made so far. You say you've sent about 3,000 letters to the Pope?
Yes. We have collected and sent 3,000 letters to the Pope at his apartment address in Rome. And we've sent copies to the Pope's ambassador here in Washington, D.C. We've asked that the canonizations of all 6 African-American candidates for sainthood, that's Father Tolton, Mother DeLille, Pierre Toussaint, Julia Greeley, Sister Thea Bowman, and of course Mother Mary Lange, that they all be expedited. Our intention is we've mailed these 3,000 letters, and we've collected probably another 700 or 800, if not 1,000 letters that we intend to hand deliver to the Vatican, either to an audience with the Pope or an appointment with the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints, the cardinals who recommend candidates to the Pope. And we intend to be there on All Saints' Day, November 1, 2023, which is also the first day of Black Catholic History Month. And we're working with the bishop to get an appointment or an audience for that particular time. And at that time, we will put these additional letters in Pope Francis's hands.
That was Ralph Moore from St. Anne Church in Baltimore. If you'd like to support the campaign for Mother Mary Lange, you can email letters to Ralph at vpcs@yahoo.com. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.